Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another video. My name is Tom. Thanks so much for joining me here today. As you can see, we're in the 2023 Bolt EUV Premier. We're going to hit up a charging site that, ironically, I just found on PlugShare. It's semi-local to me. It's actually really close off the 85 freeway, and we're going to drive up. But we're going to take the long way because, for one, I have a pretty full charge here, as you can see. Let me see if I can get you guys a little bit closer here. There you go. As you can see, we're at about, I don't know, 85% or so state of charge. So we're going to do like a 60-mile out of the way loop to, to get to where we need to go. We're actually going to take this little southerly route, which is significantly longer, but we're going to have some fun in the process. We got an hour drive and we're going to roll out. So why don't you guys stick around and take a look at some of that driving footage. I'll see you guys there. All right, everybody. So we made it here. I'll tell you the address real quick. It's 675 Gossett Road in Spartanburg, South Carolina, 29307. This is a Shell recharge station. We're actually at a Shell gas station. I really like it. On the PlugShare app, it's called Hotspot. So I'll walk around in a little bit. I'll get out of here. But one of the first things I like to do is before I ever get out of the car, before I ever really turn the car off and get out, I want to see what the app has to say. And the reason for that is because, historically, these boxes are installed without any canopies or any lighting or anything. And, there's two of them here. There's one over here and this one that I parked at over here with all of the gear, all the electronics and all the good switch gear back there behind us. But one of the things I like to do is I like to see what I can do with the app before I ever get out. So if it's bad weather or 2 o'clock in the morning and you're kind of sketched out. I mean, this is at a gas station, so I assume this is going to be lit up from the gas station. However, I will tell you, there's absolutely no lights anywhere here. So I don't know how that would work in the middle of the night. Although, now that I know that this place is here, I don't see why I won't use it. So anyway, I I'm looking at the Shell Recharge app, and there are literally thousands of Shell Recharge stations all over the place. And let me actually take this and zoom out. So this is the furthest zoom level that you can do, and I'll probably record this a little bit and insert it here so you guys can see it. There's literally thousands of chargers um, all over the place, and what I really like is that there's actually quite a few of them in South Carolina. So um, definitely a lot more than there are Electrify America chargers. So I'm gonna have to look into these a little bit. I'm about to get out, plug it in. I'm pretty high state of charge at about 55% or so. So, you know, we'll see what we get. If we can get, close to maximum speeds out of this, we should be good to go. What I can't see is what their speeds are. So let me see if the app tells you what the speeds are. They're 150 kilowatt units, so I should definitely be able to get 50 to 55 kilowatt charging off of these. So the app is pretty straightforward. It's a little clunky. It I mean it works. It opens up. One of the things that I don't like about it is when you download it, it took a good long time, and I think it has to do with the fact that I only have 2 bars of service here. But it had to download the offline map data, and that process took close to 10 minutes. I'm literally just sitting here like, hey, I'm trying to get in, blah blah blah, and it wouldn't let me do anything. I thought it actually locked up for a while, so I closed it out and then reopened it, and it did the same exact thing. So you're just gonna have to wait for that process to finish, and then get on with it. Um, I have also noticed on here that you have to add a payment credit card. It doesn't take Apple Pay or all the convenient payment methods. You literally have to just add your credit card in, and then it'll do automatic reloads, which is nice, like the Starbucks app does. So, when you get low on funds, it'll automatically reload you so you're not trying to fumble and figure out what's what. Subscriptions apparently are only available to Minnesota and Oregon, according to the app. So, no dice there with any hopes of getting cheaper rates than what's advertised. Although I will tell you, at 37 cents, where did I see that? I don't know where I saw it. I saw some, oh, maybe it was in here actually that I saw that it said 37 cents. Come on. So here's the trouble. Low service, you're going to get errors. Get site detail unsuccessful. We are unable to process your request. Let's see if turning on airplane mode and letting it reconnect will make a difference. Unfortunately, that's not the site's fault. That is, just in general, cellular service providers are just horrible. They've always been horrible. Maybe I can do a rant on that real quick because when you're dealing with technologies like cellular, the companies or the providers, they know where they have service. They can see it down to probably a mile where their services intersect, where their cell sites intersect, and where they have and don't have service. The problem is because cellular technology is one, expensive, and two, it takes a lot of investment to maintain it and then move forward with it. Like if you want to, um, upgrade your technologies, replace your antennas or whatever, it costs a lot of money. It would be, I don't understand why, as a country, we can't agree on a standard. Like right now, we're dealing with GSM, CDMA. Get rid of one or the other, or preferably just get rid of CDMA because GSM is global. That's what the G is in GSM. It's global. And just use one type of technology, invest in it, and then open up all the antennas from every network to every phone. Because if there is a tower for AT&T somewhere or Verizon somewhere, Verizon's CDMA, so it may not make a, make a difference one way or the other. But if you have a T-Mobile tower and an AT&T tower, there is an agreement between them, between AT&T and T-Mobile, where if AT&T has a tower in a place that T-Mobile does not, under agreement you can roam, on that carrier's system, and you have service, and vice versa. The problem is that it's few and far in between. You know, I know I passed just getting off the freeway. There's two cell sites here. So why do I have one bar? That would make using this app here in the middle of the night very uncomfortable. In fact, it still hasn't reconnected. Like even doing the whole trick with, let's do airplane mode, turn it on and off. But no, the service didn't come back. Um, yeah, it says error loading map, and then it gives you the button to retry. If you hit retry, it doesn't do it. So now I'm in a pinch, right? The good news for that is you can order an RFID card. So they do have a spot here where you can hit request card. I already did that and filled out the address. I think it's $5 for shipping, and they'll ship it to you to your house or wherever. And then you can just register that card here. So and that's really the best advice that I can give anybody. I'm a techno nerd myself, and by principle, I use apps, I use phones, I use iPads, I use everything. But I still have RFID cards, like for EVgo and for ChargePoint, because if this doesn't work, I still need that thing to work, right? And this looks like one of those sites that may actually um, be. Oh, looky here! It decided to connect. So I know I can pick. Let's see. This is. It doesn't say. Oh yeah, it does say this is station number 54173. So on this list, it's the second one. That one seems to be the first one. So let's do 54173. Let's do CCS. We'll tap it. Actually, you know what I'll do? Give me a second. Let me start screen recording on this. So Okay, we go to the site, 54173. We need CCS. It is available. Get station unsuccessful. If you look at my bars, again, I'm at 1. I did add $100 to this by accident. I put it in. The apps kind of clued you when you add funds to it, so be sure that once you add your sum in, don't do it again because it'll just sit there. It won't exit out of the add payment. Ugh, I wish I would have recorded that because then you would have seen me like an idiot put $100 into this. But it looks like I'm gonna start using Shell's recharge because you know what? I don't mind being at a gas station for a half hour, you know. And around here, on this part, in this part of the country especially, there's a lot of grass. There's a lot of stuff you can do. So I have a feeling that you and I are going to have a lot of conversations on our road trips coming up. So we'll see how it goes. So let's see. Let's hit start charge and see what happens. Okay, it says loading, processing. You know, I'm kind of feeling this app. Gives you a lot of good details here too. So let's let it process. I hope it doesn't fail because of the 1 bar thing. It's so stupid. But yeah, once this thing starts. Oh, look at that. Here, let me set my phone down because this screen woke up. Let me adjust the camera so it's not facing downhill. Let me turn the car off. Oh, by the way, since we're still in the car, I'll show you its state. So I want to say we're at. Let me get rid of the dinger. I want to say we're at 55%, maybe 60. I can't really tell. I didn't put my contacts in, so sorry about that. But let's look here. So we consumed 18.3 kilowatt hours on the way here. We drove 53.6 miles, averaging 3.0. My lifetime average is still good, above 3.0. It's kind of my goal for this. And then you can see the driving and accessories and climate settings, my impact. My technique sucks because I have a lead foot. It always will. Lots of hills, and I use climate control. I don't hypermile it. Outside temperature, I mean, it's definitely not 94. I think right now it's about 77, 78 degrees. Let's look at the watch here, what it says. Wake up. Yeah, it's 78. So, anyway, let's back this out. Let's go to energy. Since we are away, right? This thing recognizes that it's not home. Sorry about the reflection. I really need to get one of those matted screen protectors to deal with reflections. My charging options are set to 100%, so that way when I'm not at home, if I'm road tripping or whatever, the max I can do is 100%. I will typically stop it before then. Like I'm not going to sit here for, God knows how long until, you know, until 100%. I'm definitely not going to do that. I mean, I'm not even going to do 80. I'm probably just going to do a 10, 15-minute charge just to test the station. And then, you know, head home. I'm trying to see what happened. I think this thing timed out. I don't know. Let's see. Actually, maybe it's waiting for me to plug the car in. So let's turn the car off again. All right. I think this is part of Duke Energy's Park and Plug program. Otherwise, that wouldn't be there. So it's kind of a nice little tiny out of the way station. So let's see. We're doing CCS, and this is telling me to tap my RFID card, which I don't have. Uh, let's see if we can get the phone. Actually, this told me to plug in, so maybe I'll just plug in. Okay, still telling me Okay, timed out. So the app, goodness gracious, making videos is tough. So let's hit retry and see if it'll actually send it. It says processing. I keep forgetting that I'm recording the screen on the phone, so so I keep pointing the camera at the phone. Connector 1, processing. I was hoping to have this thing just fire off a session, but it doesn't seem to want to do it. It still says processing on the phone. Oh boy. Okay, please unplug the vehicle and start a new session. I will tell you that this handle, that handle is really solid. Goes in, comes out nicely. All right, come on, baby. Processing. I may have to leave a review. I was hoping to start this charge and do a site review, but no clickety clacky, no noises, no nothing that says we're charging. Let me try restarting. Oh, look at that. So it may have been just the app. I sure hope that's not flickering on the video because that's silly. So it says initiating right there. It's clicking. It's popping. And guess what? We're charging. Look at that. Right up to 55 kilowatts. Oh, we're at 56%. Guys, I'm happy with this. Okay, charging started. Good. So we have a positive charge. This box lit up. It's nice and loud. Okay, so while this thing's charging, let me tell you about this unit here. This is a BTC power box. Let me flip you around here. So there's the information for it. It's a model EVDSP 200-5120. Jesus, can't they make these model numbers just a little bit simpler? Let's see, input 200 to 1,000 volts DC, 200 amp max. 200 amp max. So that's what? 80. 200 amp max is 80 kilowatts for 400 volt cars, and what? 160 kilowatts for 800. Check my math, if you will. But I will tell you, it's cruising at around 52, 53. So it already delivered 1.3 kilowatt hours. I like it. You guys know that the maximum charge rate for the Bolt EV and EUV is 55. So we're about as close as we're going to get. If I were to stay here for 30 minutes, I would get my 80% completion. I'm not going to stay here that long. I'm going to give this thing literally, let's do a 10-minute session, and then we'll cut out because I don't need the charge. I'm just doing this as a test. But let's see what's around here. So there's two of these BTC power. I don't know what these are called. Just switches or what? That one's the one that's purring right now. So yeah, kind of nice. This is kind of a truck stop because we are close to the freeway. So, yeah. Looks like they could put a few more in with this guy. There's some 500 kVAs right there. Look at that. It's impressive. There's the diagram, schematic. I love it. This place is kind of great. So the 85, you can see the signs right there, runs between Atlanta and Charlotte. So this place is relatively accessible from the freeway. Hobo's Produce doesn't seem to be open today, but it's there. Yeah, Shell for the win. There's a dedicated diesel pump stop over there for trucks. Kind of nice. I like it. I do. Now, obviously, this isn't your typical. I'm going to kind of crawl into the car again just because of the noise. I'm pretty sure you guys are tired of hearing that equipment over there. Come on. Close the center console. This doesn't meet my criteria for high volume, charging. I think if they were to put at least 4 more here, there's actually, if you look out front, there's 4 regular parking spots, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the one in front of me is green already for this charging station. But if they were to put 4 more of these BTC power units, there could be 6 chargers potentially here, and I'm guessing they could also go that way and put a few more in. This could be a pretty high power spot. Now, Duke Energy, which is the label that's up top here, Duke Energy is the local utility for the Spartanburg area. Now, if you go further south, Duke subcontracts with other utilities. Like, for example, where we live in Union, where we get our power from the city of Union, so I don't actually get all my utilities are on one bill: my water, my gas, my trash, my sewer, my electric, and that's it. So, hey, look at that. The charge rate went down to 44. I don't know if you can see that very well, but it's down to 44 at 61%. Oh, it's at 61% already. So we're on that taper already. It already delivered 4.7 kilowatt hours in 6 minutes. Not bad. I think that's what about we started at 56%, we're at 62. So we got about a kilowatt per minute. That's pretty much maximum charging rate for this car. It does go down when the taper hits, but yeah, it's delivered 5 kilowatt hours already. So I'm kind of pleased to know that this is here. Here's the reason why I say that. So stupid me, and I think it's all me up here. When I shot that video about missing the freeway on-ramp, I drove right past this place. And the problem with it is that I only had Electrify America and EVgo selected in my app. So when I was doing research for new sites, I've tried to filter out all the level 2 stuff, all of the home plugs and everything, and I actually ended up filtering pretty much every site other than Electrify America and EVgo. And I think ChargePoint too, because I have, the cards for ChargePoint and EVgo, and the app for Electrify America just seems to work okay. Now, I also noticed that Electrify America's chargers are in places where there's pretty high cellular availability. So the app, I've never had my app not work for Electrify America. But the app experience here was shoddy at best. I was able to get the RFID card. When I get it, I'll put it on the keyring, and I'll have it in the vehicle. But I'd like to think that, this thing's actually doing pretty good. No issues. Handles are solid. There's two Chatamos here, so if you have a Leaf or does anything else use Chatamo these days besides the Leaf? There's two of them here, so two CCS, two Chatamos, and it's working. The first thing it does is it asks you when you plug in the handle into the port on the vehicle, it asks you to swipe the card on that little black pad right there. But as you know, I was able to activate this from the app. It did take some doing, but that's all cellular related. And if you have Verizon or AT&T or some other provider, I have T-Mobile. And the reason I have T-Mobile is because I think I have 15 devices on T-Mobile's network between my watches, my Apple watches, all my iPads, and then all the phones in the family. Also, Eddie has two devices. My son, he's got an iPad and a phone. We just kept it from that time that we went to Mexico. I activated it so we'd have it. And now I just pay for it. And it's the cheapest rate by far. For all those devices, I paid just over $400, which I was paying for two phones 10 years ago. I was paying $270 with Verizon. So that was a fast dump. But suffice it to say, you get the RFID card, it'll work just fine. These BTC power units, um, they work. They look relatively new too. I don't know what their manufacture date is. They don't have it stamped on the. I don't think they have it stamped on the side, but it worked out great. And you know what? You can do work here. You can easily sit in the grass out here, and just watch people. There's some grass out that way if you look behind the diesel pumps. So if you're you know looking for a place to picnic or maybe let a dog out or something, I mean, this is one of those places that you come, not in a hurry. You don't do this when you're in a hurry because these are only 150 kilowatts, so nothing crazy. And I don't think you'll get 150 kilowatt unless you have an 800-volt vehicle. So yeah, I think that's what the math is. I would have to, I'm not very quick with math, but just what I remember, um, that's that's how I feel about this unit. Nothing crazy, but it works very well. So we just crossed 10 minutes. So I'm gonna actually unplug. It delivered 8 kilowatt hours. Let's unplug. Oh, we crossed 11 minutes. Jesus, what a sin. Okay, charging has stopped in 11 minutes, 8.1 kilowatt hours. And please unplug the connector. So there you go. Very sturdy handle. I love it. Let's see, continue. Here's a last kind of shot of that. Sorry about the flicker if you see that. I don't know if you can see it or not. My light up charge port is still bright green. So yeah, it's kind of a nice area. And then the two chargers right here. So, okay, here's what we're gonna do. I think we're gonna let's look at the phone and see if we get a charge summary. Um, the app did update. Oh, I was hoping to show it. The app did update when I just went back. I saw that it said the charger was in use. So kind of nice about that. Oh, I don't know. It's asking me to log back in again. Gosh. I don't know. All right. Let me log back in and see if I can get the summary. Oh wait, maybe they emailed it to me because I'm kind of done with the app. The cell service here is just not cool. Charging stopped. Okay, perfect. So let me screen record that for you guys. All right, so sale amount $3, tax 21 cents. No transaction fees per session. That's nice. No discount. There's no subscriptions either. So total cost was 321. Delivered 8.1020 kilowatt hours with 11 minutes and 15 seconds. Payment method RFID. That's a lie, but maybe it has no way to differentiate between apps and maybe it doesn't know the difference between apps and the RFID. Maybe it's on the same bus. I don't know. Uh, does give you some good info, dates, times, Eastern time zone, what currency, time you started to time you finished. Price per kilowatt hour is 37 cents. So yeah, no complaints, folks. Um, I think the cellular service would be my biggest gripe today, and even then, it's it's no use. Don't bother griping about something that you have no control over. But yeah, what else can I say? I mean, why don't you guys go down below, ask me your questions. If you want to know anything about the site, if you live in the area, come check it out. It's definitely worth giving it a shot. And for 37 cents, it is cheaper than Electrify America, unless you have the Pass Plus plan. But we all know how Electrify America is doing these days. That said, about 15 miles south of here is the Greenville Electrify America station that's been solid. I will give them that. I don't know if it's because it's newer. I don't know why some sites are being neglected and other sites are being maintained and are working better. It doesn't make any sense to me. But be that as it be that as it is, um, this site worked. We got a little bit more juice. In fact, here let's have a look. Car's booting up. I just turned it on, so yeah, we're at about 65% or whatever that was. Oh, by the way, the mileage is 43.49. I'm coming up on my first oil change. Just kidding. Um, we did drive 53 miles, 3 miles per kilowatt hour, and yeah, charging. See, I wish this would also tell you like charging summary, but it doesn't. So yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reset the clock, and I'm going to try to because this doesn't reset unless you get to your full charge state. Um, I'm going to take a different way home just to see what the difference is. I did take the long way just to drain my battery down to 50-ish percent. I got down to 55%, but now I'm gonna go home. Um, Lower speeds, less freeway, so no super cruise, but I just want to see what it would take to get here. The Greenville station takes 77 minutes from my house to the station, and I know that because it's actually close to um, the mall that's over there, the Greenville Mall, I think it's Haywood Mall, and I visit, Apple Store, whatever, regularly, so I know the road pretty well. But if I'm in a pinch and I'm coming down from Charlotte and I don't need to drive all the way down to Greenville, or I miss my exit like I did last time, I'm not pulling a move where I have to drive, potentially 60, 75 miles out of my way at 1 o'clock in the morning to get home. So there's something to be said about that. But anyway, I'm going to roll everything up, get that hood camera back online, and we're gonna head out of here. So stick around. All right, everybody, we made it home. It is amazingly dark. It's funny because when the sun sets around these parts, and I don't ever remember it being like this in other parts of the country, but around here, you get to like 15 minutes before sunset, and then boom, the sun's gone. It just exits stage left. I don't know. It's crazy. I literally just pulled in. I could still see bits and pieces of the sun, and now literally park in the car, get my seatbelt off. The car's still on, actually. I grabbed the camera, and sun's gone. It was literally right there minutes ago. Maybe even 90 seconds ago. Anyway, we made it home. We're back at 55% for the state of charge. So we burned about 10% getting back here. Here's the snapshot of the total drive. Turn that light off real quick. We drove 90.1 miles, averaging 3.2 miles per kilowatt hour. I will tell you that the drive back, the slower mountain roads, I wanted to try some side streets and little mountain roads on the way home. I'm just getting spoiled with Super Cruise, so I need to be sure that I can still drive windy roads at relative velocities. Anyway, I will tell you that I was getting 4.7 miles per kilowatt hour, around 55 miles per hour, going up and downhill. Just having the cruise control set to, I want to say 55. I just set it and then just let Adaptive Cruise do its thing. But overall, this was a success. I like to think that, you know, this is potentially a charging station that I can use if I'm in a pinch in the middle of the night. Shell gas stations are open typically 24/7. So, show up, pull in, maybe get some food if they have something, even if it's late night, at least get a drink, use the facilities if you have to, because that's the one thing that I really missed in Greenville. That night that I was coming back from Charlotte and I missed the exit and I had to go to Greenville, um, I didn't have anything to do. Everything was closed. You know, I don't even think the restaurants were open at that hour anymore because it was after midnight that I got there. So, you know, do I like the charging station in Greenville? Yeah, I do. Um, would I use it after hours if I didn't have to? No, I wouldn't. If I can't make it home, I think I'll be on a mission to explore closer charging facilities to me. I'm gonna save their locations in like the favorites parts so that way I can see on the map where I am, where they are, where I need to go, um, at all hours of the night. I know that there's a lot of charging stations that are being put up at dealerships. I noticed that when I was coming back from Columbia. Yeah, when I was doing the Columbia update video, when I came back, when I was researching that whole area, I think there were 7 or 8 charging stations at dealerships, most of which close when the dealership closes. So in my opinion, those are kind of useless because during the day they're going to be used by the dealerships or by the employees or by somebody else, or you can't rely on those types of charging stations because I consider those like level 2 home chargers. They're just, they're there for convenience but not, practicality. You're not going to pull into a dealership at 1 o'clock in the morning and expect that there's a DC fast charger available to use. It's kind of silly actually to have those listed in places like PlugShare or any other place, unless they're considered like specialized charging stations that you can have access to between certain hours. I'm not sure you can even filter them out of the apps because you don't know you know what brand they are. They could be charge points, they could be something else altogether. So who knows? I don't know. I obviously will not be reviewing dealerships. I have bad experiences with dealers with dealerships, and the last thing I want to do is pull my 55 kilowatt capable vehicle into a dealership, especially if it's like a Ford or a non-GM dealership. I don't know. Not my style for sure, especially since I have a level 2 here at home and it almost just doesn't make sense. If you're in a pinch, emergency or whatnot, then sure, but you can't rely on them because some of them will be closed after business hours. You won't have access to the facility. um, you know so yeah. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get out. I'm going to plug this car in to actually get it back up to 85%. I've set my state of charge limit a little bit higher. It was 80 for 3 months. Now I'm doing 85, and then I'll probably bring it back down just to use a little bit more of the pack. And I'm also making sure that the settings are correct, where it's not charging to 100 and then I get sick and then not move the car for 3 days or whatever. Although nothing seemed to have happened, it did perfectly fine with 100% state of charge just sitting out here. In fact, it was not only was it charged to 100%, it was plugged in for the whole time. So if it needed energy to condition the pack or do whatever, it had energy from the house, so it would never have pulled from the high voltage pack, which not optimal. But anyway, that's it. You guys go down below. Thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate you guys coming along for the trip. You know, your support is just 100% appreciated. You guys are the reason I do these videos, and if you guys can think of anything that you'd like me to review or do or whatever, you know, drop it down in the comments. I look forward to reading them. I will be going back through some of the comments that I haven't responded yet tonight, and I'll reply to them. Thanks so much for taking the time and leaving me your thoughts. Can't thank you guys enough for all the support and all the, you know, all the stuff that you guys leave in the comments. It's really, really solid. It makes me happy. So for now, I'm going to leave you guys go. Have a good evening. Thanks so much. And as always, thank you very much for watching.